What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Gimme presented by Bet365. Why do we call it the Gimme? Because it's good. That's why. Coming up this week, the second of three FedEx Cup playoff events, the BMW Championship at Olympia Fields up outside of Chicago. That's where he is. He's Nick Brentwish. I'm Jason Sobel. Coming up for the next little bit of the show, we're going to give you our favorite outrights, favorite props, favorite first-round leader plays, one-and-dones, all the good stuff we do every single week during the PGA Tour season. Before we get too far, though, a reminder that the Gimme is presented by Bet365, the world's favorite sportsbook brand. Sign up with promo code ACTION, ACTION, to get Bet365's exclusive sign-up offer in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, Virginia, and Iowa. Bet $1, get $200 in bet credits. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's get right to it. Top of the board, Bet365 this week. They're all bunched up, as they should be in a 50-man field. Rory McIlroy has the honors, though, of being number one at the top of the board. He is plus 700, followed very closely by Scotty Scheffler. Figured it would be close to the top. He's plus 750. John Rahm plus 850. Patrick Cantlay 10-1, and Victor Hovland and Xander Schauffele round out the top tier, each at 16-1. As usual, we have $100 to bet here on the show. We'll start off the portfolio with outrights. Nick, you've got the honor on the tee. Where are you going with your first one?
I'm doing it. I think a month ago I told you on this show I would never bet anybody sub 10-1. I'm going to do it this week. What I noticed is a lot of the sports books out there had a lower hold percentage than usual. It's a 50-man tournament. We see this man at this price every week, no matter what the field is. I'm going to go with Rory McIlroy, 7-1, $24. That is the some high exposure in the outright market, but at 7-1, you got to do that. I'm going with Rory, 8 straight top 10 finishes. Best ball striker on the planet the last week at TPC Southwind. He is number one in my miles expected strokes gained off the tee, which I believe matters a lot this week, rain or shine. And then number one by a wide margin in my expected scoring on bent grass. So we're going to Rory. I think he's the best player on the planet right now. That new Scotty Cameron putter seems to be working. Let's do it, Roars.
Yeah, I think 4 days with that new putter. He got it cut down in the middle of the tournament in Memphis last week, and I think that's going to help him a lot. Look, this show could be a lot shorter, Nick. We could both go, you know what? Let's put all our money on Rory top 5 this week. Shut her down. 2-minute show. Let's get out of here. But I do like him. I do think it's going to be a good week for him. I'm not going much further down the board, and I understand that I'm certainly not getting a bargain in Patrick Cantlay coming off a playoff loss. I was shocked, quite honestly, because I was standing there on the range watching Cantlay warm up for this playoff for about 20 minutes with his coach, Jamie Mulligan, and Joe LaCava, his caddy right there. And Lucas Glover, who was, of course, in the last group, goes into scoring, signs his card. He comes out. His caddies got a whole bag of balls waiting to go hit before the playoff. Lucas is about to set up about 20 yards away from Patrick Cantlay, and they go, no. You guys got to go right back out. Lucas never got to hit a ball. I said, all right, advantage Patrick Cantlay. And within about 30 seconds, it was all over because Cantlay hit one in the water. Lucas found the fairway, and it was pretty much all said and done from there. So, look, I did feel like that was not the beginning of the end for Patrick Cantlay, but just the tip of the iceberg. And I think bigger and better things are coming. 2-time defending champion, this one. I'm not sure that means anything whatsoever. He won in Maryland. He won in Delaware. Now he goes to Illinois. There's really no correlation other than the fact that he gets up for this stuff. He loved being a FedEx Cup champion a couple of years ago. And I would say that he's treating this, if not like a major championship, at least pretty close. And so I do think that maybe the correlation comes in the preparation for Cantlay. I don't like the fact that he's a shorter number than he was last week. And I said last week that I really liked him and wasn't going to take him at, I think it was 16-1. And now I'm playing him at a shorter number, sort of like you with Rory, playing Rory at a short number. But you're running out of guys to take at some point. There's only 50 in the field. We've had 4 straight long shots. I don't quite see it happening this time, but maybe we'll find somebody in the mid tier. I'm going 20% of the portfolio on Cantlay. Where are you going with your second?
Yeah, real quick, I love that Cantlay play. I mean, what he's doing off the tee this year is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he missed that putt on that 19th hole, I guess, by an inch. So everything's there for him. One of the best ball strikers in this tournament as well. So I cannot fault that. It was between Rory or Cantlay for me, so I love where you're going there. I'm going to go to a guy that just, his form is all over the place. And it's pretty tough for me to back him. I've backed him all year long. It just seems like a guy that I always seem to go to. But Tony Finau at 45-1 just seems like a number grab I have to take. My model's got him at 38-1. So 7 points of value there, give or take. But he did have, he spiked. The ball striking was there. He was number one on Thursday at TPC Southwind. Then just overall, I think he lost like 7 strokes putting. I'm just going to bet on the come that he is not that bad on the greens. He was solo fifth here in 2020. That's really all we have to work on with Tony Finau in this course. Number grab for me, I'm going Tony Finau at 45-1. I feel like this guy should be in the mid 30s.
Yeah, it's funny, Nick. Last week after the first round, I was in Memphis and I gave 3 plays to add to the outright card. One of them was Finau, who went completely in the wrong direction. One of them was Denny McCarthy, who wound up finishing tied for last place. And the other one was Patrick Cantlay. So they're all over the place. Just goes to show you never know what's going to happen over the next few days. I'm going to go with my second outright, a guy who, granted, we know him as a great tee to green player and as a very inconsistent putter. And yet, Corey Connors, over his last 3 starts, has actually gained strokes putting, and the iron play has been a little iffy. He's doing it sort of more like a Denny McCarthy and less like a Corey Connors. We usually like to take the guys who are striking the ball really well and hope that they're going to putt better. I'm taking a guy who's a really good ball striker, who's putting well right now, and hope that the ball striking gets back to the mean. And so Corey Connors at 45-1, he's a guy that I've always thought should be able to win an event like this. I don't know that Corey Connors is still ready to go out and win a major championship. Can he win an event with 50 of the best players in the world playing in the same field? Yeah, I feel like he can. We all talk about the iron play when it comes to Corey Connors, but quite frankly, Nick, over the last 2 years, the driver has been even better. There's a good chance that this turns out to be a first shot golf course, not a second shot golf course. Long and straight, as we're going to talk about in a minute, is really going to help this week. So I'm going 15% of the portfolio on Connors. All right, let's get to Olympia Fields, which held the U.S. Open 2 decades ago, 2003. And if you forget about it, it was pretty forgetful unless you remember Jim Furyk's family. Furyk had held a 2-shot lead after the second round, 3 after the third round. He won by 3. It wasn't really the course's fault, but everyone just kind of forgot about it because it was boring. There wasn't that much to it. 2015, U.S. Amateur there. Bryson DeChambeau wins in the final 7-6. Again, another snoozer. 2 years after that, the Women's PGA Championship came. Danielle Kang wins by 1. Okay, there's some drama there. All of a sudden, it's like, all right, maybe the course has a little bite to it. And then 2020, 3 years ago, after a trying year with COVID and everything taking place in the game of golf, all of a sudden we get what looks like a major championship at Olympia Fields. Only 5 players go under par for the entire week. 4 under's the winning score. John Rahm beats Dustin Johnson in a playoff that was electric. And we're like, wow, can we get back to Olympia Fields as fast as possible? Playing 7,366 yards this week, a par 70. That's long. It's going to be soft, as Nick was saying. Rain this week and been raining for a while in that area.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain the last 36 to 48 hours. Looks like more coming Thursday morning. So this course will play a lot different than what we saw back in 2020. I still think it's going to be very tough. I'm looking at a single-digit winner still.
Yeah, I think so too. But again, I think long and straight. Look, there are times we always say this: long and straight works every single week on every single golf course. Long and straight is more of an advantage on some golf courses more than others. I think long and straight's really going to help this week. So we'll see who drives it the best. Let's get to the player finishing position markets at Bet365. Who are you buying?
Surprise, surprise. I'm going with the trend. Rory hasn't finished outside the top 9, actually, in his last 8 tournaments. I'll take 1 spot better there. Rory McIlroy, 8th or better on Bet365 at -120. 20% of the portfolio on that one. So, Rory, my week is riding on you, buddy. Go get it done.
I mean, nothing against our show sponsor here, but they know there's only 50 players in the field, right?
Yeah, right. That's
yeah.
I thought it'd
like
be I thought it'd be 6th or 7th maybe at worst, but to get 8th, still pay that -120. I'm okay with it.
I feel like Rory's been right around that number in 156 man fields throughout the year. So yeah, I like that as well. I watched Sungjae Im play a lot of golf this past week. Just happened to, kind of when I walked outside and followed a group, he was playing with Jordan a lot. I followed Jordan and I watched him play a lot. It was like, it was right there. Like everything was like really close and not quite perfect for Sungjae Im. But I will say that on a golf course that is previously played like a major championship golf course, the fact that Sanjay only made 4 bogeys last week and didn't make a single one in the final round. That makes me think he can play a tougher golf course really well this week. They've got him for 20th or better. And there's something interesting here, Nick, because 20th or better in the player finishing position market is minus 120. If you go to Sanjay's sort of personal page at Bet365, Sanjay for a top 20 is minus 143. So you're getting a nice little bargain there if you play him 20th or better as opposed to the top 20 play, which of course are the exact same plays, but you're getting it at about what 10% cheaper here. So it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Good price shopping there too. And Sanjay was awesome last week. Top 10 in strokes gained off the tee, top 5 in ball striking. That putter just wasn't there for him. And that's something that certainly should go back to the mean. I think Sanjay should be a great course fit here. So I love that play.
And I see you're taking a page out of Spencer Aguilar's book, and no sell this week. You're not selling anybody?
No, I did. So I talked to Barbara like 10 minutes before the show. It sucks that it's America's favorite golfer right now. I get if you want to call it that, but I'm going to sell Lucas Glover 23rd or worse, minus 120. We talked about long and straight off the tee. He's certainly an accurate player, but as much as I value distance, Lucas Glover kind of just doesn't check that box. He, goes at a 3-wood often, as we saw last week as well. I don't think he could do that very much at Olympia Fields. And then the other issue is the short game. People are going to miss greens. These greens are small. And his scrambling just is not up to par with what I think the rest of this field is, especially, 23 golfers or better. So I'm going to sell Lucas Glover 23rd or worse for 5% of the budget. Just a nibble on that.
Look, I thought Lucas Glover was going to run out of steam going into last week. He obviously did and played great golf. One of my favorite guys on tour. I'll take all these guys that I've come up through the ranks with. I've been, dealing with Lucas for 20 years, and the fact that he's still winning golf tournaments is great. He's a fantastic quote, really thoughtful guy. The fact that he hasn't run out of steam yet is a testament to what he's doing, but at some point he's going to hit the wall. And I think you're right. I think fading him this week makes a lot of sense. All right, I'm going to sell Jason Day. I had my buddy Ben Everell, who I do the podcast with here at the Action Network, telling me last week, watch out for Jason. Benny's Australian. Benny always says, watch out for Jason. It doesn't mean anything. He went and walked a few holes, and Jason looked good on Tuesday. It means absolutely nothing. I've thankfully figured that out over the last couple of years that, just because he talks him up on Tuesday doesn't mean anything. Jason finished in a share of 52nd place. I'm getting him now at 21st or worse. It feels like, talk about, being later in your career and hitting a wall, where we talked about Lucas Glover. J Day feels like, I've had a really good year. I'm sort of at the end of it. He's got 19 kids at home, and I think more coming. Like, just get me out of here. I'm done. It's not like he's not going to play, not going to try. Just be there, but it's just sort of, hey, this is enough. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him until maybe he goes to Australia and plays a couple of the Australian events in December. But if not, like Kapalua next year, Torrey Pines. I mean, it may be a while before we see Jason Day after this little stretch here. So I'm going to fade him. All right, let's get to our props. What are you thinking?
All right. This one's kind of gross. It's a guy I've pretty much faded all season long, but I'm going to go to Sahith Theegala, top 20 at plus 190, 14% of the budget there. So for me, it's what he does off the tee. He's one of the better form players off the tee right now leading into the event. He profiles one of the best scramblers in the field, according to my numbers. It's just the ball striker right now. It's kind of up and down, but it is trending in the right direction on the ball striking. Still not great, but who he is as a golfer, we know he's a ball striker. We know he could hit it a long way. I had this number at plus 150, so to get 40 points of value in the placement market, I'm going to go Sahith Theegala, top 20, plus 190.
I had the exact same play in my preview piece this week, so I agree with you. I saw Sahith. He was one of the first guys I saw on site at TPC Southwind last week, and we're just having a casual conversation. I wasn't like, hey, you got to go play better. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the conversation, he goes, you play better. He goes, Jason, I got to do something here. I got to do something at the end of the year. I go, yeah, cool with me, man. You're like yelling at me, like, go for it. So I agree. I think he's ready. We talk about some of the older guys kind of ready to fade into the offseason. I think he's a guy that's ready to step on the gas pedal here at the end of the year. He's also right on that bubble to get into the Tour Championship. Lots of good stuff coming with that, which he knows. All right, I mentioned earlier in the show when you mentioned Rory McIlroy that we could just shut it down and set Rory for a top 5 and said, okay, we're all done here. Take all your money and put it on there. you may want to take some of that money and throw it on Tommy Fleetwood for a top 5. This guy's been automatic lately. I mean, I get it. He's finding new and different ways to not win PGA Tour events. Stood over a 23-footer for birdie on the last hole. And quite honestly, I'm not sure anyone expected him to make it to get into that playoff last week. He missed it by a couple feet and tapped in and finished in third place again. And that's his third top 5 in his last 6 starts. Also has a 6th place finish where he just missed the top 5 in there as well. But plus 375 for a top 5 on Tommy this week. We used to call Tony Finau top 5 Tony when he wasn't winning golf tournaments. I feel like it's a little bit of a backhanded compliment, Nick, but we got to call him top 5 Tommy now.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, he's ball striking Jesus. So that's what they call him on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And he's certainly living up to that name. So I cannot fault that pick at all.
What are you looking at for matchups?
All right, this one left the station. Last night, early this morning, Jordan Spieth was minus 115 over the guy I'm fading, Lucas Glover. I believe that's now at minus 180. I don't think I would ever recommend eating that much juice on a matchup. So maybe you could look at.
Is that all you?
No,
was that all your money moving that?
It was. I think it was a Spencer group chat. So you know how he gets when he sees a matchup he likes, he's gonna sound the alarms and get everybody to hammer it. But if you want to maybe take a look elsewhere, I like what Cameron Young has been doing lately. I know the putter's kind of been up and down, but his ball striking starting to come back into elite form. He's minus 140 against Lucas Glover. We know Paul Tesori's had some success here in that 2003 Open. I believe he was on VJ's bag, if I'm not mistaken. VJ was top 20. So, and VJ at that time to where Cam Young is now, I think Cam Young's a much more talented golfer and should be able to kind of make this course a lot shorter. And if he does miss fairways, he's going to be hitting wedges out of the rough, and his short game's good enough to clean up there to keep it around even par and stay in the fight. So I'll go with Cameron Young now that the Jordan Spieth number is long gone.
All right, that makes sense. Look, you're going to keep fading Glover. I'm going to keep fading Jason Day. I can find Tom Kim and his rolled up pants at minus 110. A little rumor in there that Tom was told to pull his pants down. Not like that. They just pull the pant legs down.
What was he doing though? I saw it on TV.
I talked to him about it afterwards. He just look. He's 21 years old. He doesn't want to spend money on more pants or something. I mean, like I think that we, the public, thinks like, these guys have millions of dollars. They go buy more pants. Just call a guy. Guy sends more pants. Whatever. Tom's like, I'm going to be on the road for the next 3 weeks. These are like white pants. I don't want to get them muddy. I already had a situation where I got muddy at the PGA Championship and everyone laughed at me. So he's trying to outthink the situation. He goes, I'm going to roll up my pants. Now you can't laugh at me. And everyone's like, yeah, now we're laughing at you for a different reason. I feel bad for the kid. He's trying. He's trying hard. He's trying so hard to fit in, to look. But he's playing some good golf in the middle of all this. He's playing some good golf. I'll take him at minus 110. I'll throw 15% of that portfolio on him to beat Day this week. But yeah, that's all it was. I mean, I think a lot of people who are on Twitter thinking they were like slam diggers or thinking they were like capris, something like that. No, they were just regular pants. He just had them all rolled up because he didn't want to get them muddy. Didn't want to have to do the laundry.
Yeah, I was worried. I mean, I know the joggers are coming into golf now. You see guys like Eric Cole and Van Royen. Maybe Tom Kim was just starting a new trend with the capri golf pants. So I don't know. Could be something.
The joggers are great, by the way. Joggers. Travel in the joggers. That's my advice to you. All right, let's get to the gimme prop. Gimme prop at Bet365. Nick, I have a feeling where you're going to go with this one, whether you like it or not. We have boosted Lucas Glover, not to win, but just for a top 5. He was plus 550. He's been boosted to 600 plus 600, 6-1 this week. Do I even have to ask? Do you like that number on Lucas Glover?
You could boost it to 15-1. I'm still out.
Yeah, I can't get there either. By the way, he's on my Ryder Cup team as of right now. And
that'd be great. I agree.
I've been looking for a month, and again, we can get into this. I just did 4 hours of radio over the last 2 days, talking all sorts of Ryder Cup and trying to explain what we're doing. Every player has a role. Every player should be on the team for a reason, not just because they played well. I've been looking for a month for a partner for Brian Harman, and I finally found one in Lucas Glover. He makes more sense than anybody else who's on the team right now. I think for that reason alone, putting 2 veterans out there who haven't been in this situation, put them together and let them do it in the same pairing, I think makes a lot of sense. But yeah, not taking Lucas this week.
I love it. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that'd be fun. He certainly has earned a spot on that team. I think it'd be great for him, his career. And like you said, he's just, I don't know him personally, but just watching him in his post game, like he's an awesome guy to listen to. I'll certainly root for him on the Ryder Cup and achieving that dream.
He had about 10 different great quotes last week. I think my favorite one was after the third round. He was asked how he would assess his performance. He said, well, I'd say it was scrappy. Part of the day, you could take the S out of that.
That's great. I love it.
It's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if he's used that before, but right off the cuff, after you walk off the golf course, it's pretty good. All right, let's get to our first round leader plays. Nick, what do you got for Thursday this week?
All right, this is a guy that's kind of under the radar. I think if it was 4 to 6 weeks ago, his numbers would be a lot shorter. But Ricky Fowler was top 20 in ball striking throughout the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to ride that spark, and hopefully he could get in a first round leader or a share of that at 50 to 1. So I'm going to go Ricky Fowler, 4% of the budget, first round leader, and what I think is an excellent course fit for a guy that hopefully found his iron play again last weekend.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I am going with a guy that I don't know if people have noticed. Benny On has been fantastic on Thursdays. I mean, he is like captain of the first round all-star team years ago, before I was even talking betting, before we're getting into first round leader bets. I used to do a first round all-star team. And it was sort of like this backhanded compliment, because it was guys who were like, hey man, you play really well. You start off tournaments really well, and guys who didn't really finish them off very well. And it was like, yeah, it was kind of nice without being that nice. In any case, Ben On might be the captain of the first round all-star team right now. 67.8 scoring average in his last 10 events. Had a 61 at the Scottish, 7 scores better than 70. I get him at 40 to 1. Throw $10 on that for the portfolio. All right, almost done here. One and done plays. I don't think we're veering too far from the original path that we had, huh?
Give me Rory.
Yeah. Give me Cantlay. Enough said. If you've still got the big guns left, there's not much reason to hold on to them. Guys, there's one event left after this week. If you're like, well, I've got Rory, Rahm, Cantlay all left, I'm going to save them for a while. They're like timeouts. Can't take them with you. Got to get rid of them. So, all right, let's recap the portfolios here. Nick's got outrights on Rory and Finau. He's buying Rory, selling Glover. Prop on Thigala, matchup on Spieth, maybe Cam Young there, if you can get them against Glover with a decent number, and first round leader play on Ricky Fowler. I'm going with outrights on Cantlay and Connors, buying Sungjae Im, selling Day. Prop on Fleetwood, matchup on Tom Kim, first round leader bet on Benny On. Guys, that's all we got. We appreciate you watching this edition of the Gimme presented by Bet365. Remember, for all the content, all the time, go to actionnetwork.com, and the Action app will be covering the BMW Championship, and I will be live at the Tour Championship for this very show next week. For Nick Bretwish, I'm Jason Sobel. Good luck with all those BMW Championship bets. Here's hoping you guys hit the green.